Hey everybody, this is Halstead and Andrew McMillan here with REH CPA. Today we want to talk about 1099 independent contractor versus W-2 employee. From time to time, we will get people who will contact us and say, hey, I have an option to be either a 1099 contractor or W-2 employee. Which one is better? So before we get into this, let me give the caveat that usually if there's an option, usually you have to be a W-2 employee. Like a W-2 employee and an independent contractor are two totally separate things. So if you're talking to an employer and they're giving you the choice, generally they're required to make you a W-2 employee. But that's on your employer. But I just want you guys to be aware that generally there's not a choice. You're either a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor. That being said, we still can address the question of which one is better. So I've got Andrew McMillan here with me today. Andrew, what would be better, a 1099 contractor or a W-2 employee?
Gotcha. So yeah, we always kind of laugh when we get the question about having the option, because you shouldn't probably be given the option, but if you are, it happens. But if you are given the option, basically the two main differences from purely looking at this from a tax standpoint is if you're a 1099 contractor, you're going to be required to pay 100% of the Social Security and Medicare taxes that you're going to have to pay. And you're typically going to pay these on quarterly estimated tax payments, but you're going to have to pay 100% of the Social Security and Medicare taxes. They're commonly referred to as self-employment taxes for 1099 contractors. So alternatively, if you're a W-2 employee, you're only going to have to pay 50% of the Social Security and Medicare taxes. And you're gonna pay those taxes on your W-2 wage, on your every time you get a paycheck, those taxes are gonna be withheld, so you're typically probably not gonna be having to make like quarterly estimated tax payments.
So when a lot of people hear this, then they automatically think, well, wait a minute, so W-2 is probably the best way to go.
Well, yeah, that can be the initial gut reaction, but W-2, there are some things that being a 1099 contractor, some benefits to that you don't have when you're a W-2 employee. One of the biggest things is if you have expenses like unreimbursed business expenses, you can't deduct those if you're a W-2 employee. You want to get reimbursed from your employer, but if you're not, then there's no way for you to really deduct those. If you're a 1099 contractor, you actually can deduct all of those expenses. All of your expenses to help you generate that income, you can deduct on your tax return. So it's going to open up the door to some tax deductions for you to reduce that 1099 income. You're also going to be, generally, you're going to be eligible for the qualified business income deduction, the QBI deduction.
Which can be huge.
It can be. We've done some videos on it, but it's a really great deduction for small business owners and self-employed people. You're going to be eligible for the self-employed health insurance deduction. So generally, there's a lot of ways you can help reduce your income when you're a 1099 contractor that you can't when you're a W-2 employee. So, it's one of those classic "it depends" type answers. It's not something that's cut and dry, black and white. Every situation's different. Everybody's got different things going on. So you really have to look at the facts and circumstances of your situation. But at the tip of the iceberg, at the very high level, when you're talking about what's the tax difference, you're talking about paying 100% of Social Security, Medicare taxes, or you're talking about paying 50% of it.
Yeah, no, that's really good information. And again, you really shouldn't have the choice, but we still get people who call up and say they have the choice, but you should be aware that you're either usually a W-2 employee or you're a 1099 contractor, because they're two separate animals altogether. In fact, I think we've done a video on it before, I'm sure. But anyways, if you're running into this situation and you do have the option, and you're not sure which route to go, we can definitely run some analysis for you and kind of tell you the benefits of going either direction and kind of help you figure that out. So just give us a call and we'll help you go down that path. I appreciate it. Thank you.